Are you waiting for something? Silence is the most profound Dhamma teaching. Huh? We can't even silence our own heart. We can't silence our thoughts. Yeah? How can we ever listen to the Dhamma that comes from our hearts? Huh? We think constantly, we think about this, we think about that, we memorize this, we memorize that. And most of the times we play with these stupid things that are called smartphones, yeah? Huh? Making pictures of what, yeah? As if you could capture, the Dhamma with these smartphones, huh? Playing around, yeah? All our life we're playing around, yeah? The older generation just knows, at the time, when we were young, there were no phones, there were hardly any TVs, yeah? Now everybody has his TV in his pocket, huh? And they're constantly, yeah? People, if they come from outer space and if they see these human people, they think they're crazy, talking to these things, yeah? Huh? Metal boxes, yeah? Watching constantly, yeah? Not being able to communicate with each other, huh? Is that why we were born, huh? Just to play? Play around? Go on Facebook, go on Twitter, or whatever it is, yeah? Yeah? Is that our purpose of our life, huh? Ask yourself, why were you born, huh? What's the purpose of your life? Yeah? Having a nice time. Yeah? Most of you don't have a nice time. Yeah? If you were born and to have a nice time, at least make it a nice time. Yeah? Some people answer, we are born because of our kamma. Yeah? Sure, that's 100% true. We are born, to make more kamma in this life. Yeah? That clear? And how much good karma do we make per day? We have 24 hours. Maybe you sleep 8 hours, you still have 16 hours. How much good karma do you do? And how much bad karma do you do? Think about it. Huh? Once a day, or once a week, we give dana, to the monks. And the rest of the week, we do bad karma that leads us to hell. Huh? It's truth, yeah? When the Venerable Ananda asked the Lord Buddha, how many people are going to hell? How many people are going to heaven? And then he said, do you see that bull over there? How many horns does he have? Yeah? These are the people to go to heaven or to Nibbana. And how many hairs does he have on his fur? Stop that, please. Huh? How many hairs does he have on his fur? These are the people go to hell. Now look around, yeah? Huh? How many million hairs are on a bull? Huh? Can you imagine? We know how many horns he has. 2. So my teacher always asked the people, are you the horns or are you the hair? Huh? Huh? Think about it, it's your own choice. Huh? You have it in your hands. Yeah? Nobody else can make your life. Yeah? You're responsible for whatever is happening to you. Yeah? That is the teaching of the Lord Buddha. Yeah? There's nobody else. It's not the government, it's not your wife, it's not your husband, yeah? It's not your boss, it's you. Because whatever you sow, is that what you reap? Huh? You probably heard that, yeah? And whatever we reap in this life, ask any farmer, yeah? Who sows, rice or wheat or whatever, he has to wait at least for 6 months, to harvest it, yeah? So we think, today we make some good deeds and tomorrow we can harvest it, huh? Is that what we think? then we are completely mistaken. Whatever we do in this life, 95% will happen in the next life. So what you do is now in this life to prepare for your next life. And whatever you have done, you will receive in the next life. Whatever you have done in your previous life, that's what you receive right now. So be happy. It's all you're doing. And that is something that is so difficult to accept. We want to complain, we constantly make somebody else, I'm responsible for what is happening to us, Are we Buddhists or are we true Christians, If we are Christians, we can blame God, But we only blame God for all the bad things that are happening to us, We don't blame God when we win in the lottery, We don't go to the church, and say, oh, please, God, take this thing away from me, Only if some misery happens to us, all the good things happen to us, it is our right. It's not only Christians who think that, it's everybody who thinks that. And everything that happens bad to us, misery that happens to us, somebody else did it, Isn't there something wrong in our thinking, No. It's the other person who did that to us, It's the government, It's a spouse, It's a husband, It's the children, It's our relatives. Do we really think that, Yes. So that means we have not really understood, the basic teaching of the Buddha. So ask yourself, why are you here? What is the purpose of your life? What are you doing? Getting up in the morning, What do? Eat something, drink something, maybe wash your face, And what do? Then you work, Or you do something, then you eat again, Then you do something else, then you eat again and then go to sleep. Since we were born, Until we die, we get up, eat something, drink something, do something, eat something, go to sleep. What a fun, How much fun is this life, And how difficult is it, to carry this body from one place to the other, All this weight, all this flesh and bones, You have to carry it from one place to the other. The heavenly beings don't, They just blink with their eyes and they are where they want to be, But we have this heavy body, 60 to 80 kilograms, of flesh and bones, And we have to feed that, And that's why we work. Just to feed, to house this body, to take care of this body. And that's why we forget the purpose of our life. We constantly think about, I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, I'm cold, I need some new clothes, and so on. We never think about, the owner of this body. Just like when you have a car, you only think about the car. It doesn't have fuel, it doesn't have oil, it doesn't have enough air, It needs some wash, You never think about the driver who drives the car. The car doesn't go on its own, It needs a driver. Hello. And where's the driver of this body? It's called the chitta, or the heart. That drives the body. If the driver of a car is asleep, the car doesn't go anywhere. If the chitta is asleep, the body doesn't move. It's a robot. We inhabit a robot just like we drive a car. We drive this body. I mean, it's amazing body, I mean, we developed it over billions, trillions of lives. It wasn't there in the beginning like that. I mean, the Lord Buddha gives a description how the body was. Just, pieces of earth stuck together. When they replenished the energy, they just ate some earth. Now look at your cuisine. You don't eat earth anymore. You have Chinese food, you have Malay food, you have, you have Indian food, and all sorts, probably also Thai food, all sorts of food, If we develop this body, we develop these senses over trillions is probably not enough, trillions of lives, And it gets more and more sophisticated. Think about a car, 100 years ago, You remember? Within 100 years, the car developed, quite, Now it's sophisticated. Now it just does things on its own, what we don't want it to do, Just like this body does things on its own and that we don't want it to do, For instance, it dies, we don't want it to die, We want it to stay on forever, It's not impossible. So, take care of the citta. That is the important thing in our life. 95%, think about your life. Take this as food for thought. Think about your life. How much do you care about the body? How much of your time per day is dedicated to the body? To put it asleep, to feed it, to house it, to give it some medicine? Most all of our life. And then all the work, when we die, Nothing. For nothing. Because the body dies. When you look at the life of a monk, how many hours a day does he take care of his body? Maybe 1 or 2 hours. And the rest, he takes care of his citta. Because the kilesas are inhabited in the citta. They have the power over us. You don't even know who has the power over you. You think it's you. Because the kilesas are so clever and tell, it's me, it's me, it's me. I want. I need. And you say, yes, my Lord. Because the Lord is a Vicha. Yes, my Lord, you're right. I like this, I don't like that. But who tells you that? Now imagine this voice. We just need to close our eyes for a few minutes and then hear all these sayings that go on in our inner ear. Now imagine this to be your husband or your wife or your girlfriend or your boyfriend. How long would you take up with him? I don't like this, I don't like this, I need this, I need that. Not very long. So after 3 days you would chuck him out. He's so... He constantly wants something. And people who are married or who have a boyfriend or girlfriend, know that. I mean, the other person can be quite nauseating. But we call this us. It's me. But then who is the one who hears this voice? Who is the one who sees these thoughts? Who is the one who knows there's a feeling? Is that God or what? I mean, if you look for something that is the real you, then it's this who knows all these things. And that's what is the nature of the citta, the knowing nature of the citta. It knows, it just knows. And is completely objective. It knows there's a thought, but the kilesas take up the thought and said, it's mine. Or it knows there's a feeling, and the kilesas say, it's my feeling. I feel bad, I feel good, I am happy, I am unhappy. That's what the kilesas make. The knowing nature just knows. It doesn't care, yeah? It just knows, yeah? Just like we, watch a cloud, it comes in, it goes out, yeah? We know it, yeah? We can't move the cloud away, yeah? We just have to wait until it goes. Just like with feelings, huh? We think we are in control of the feelings, huh? Does anybody believe that? So if you have a bad feeling, just change it out to a good feeling? Can you do that? Huh? Think about it. If it's yours, if you have a black shirt on, and in your cupboard you have a white shirt, you can change it because it's yours. If you have a black feeling, and there's no white feeling around, yeah, you can't change it. The thoughts, that come into your mind, did you invite them? Huh? Did you invite all these worries that come into your mind? Huh? Worry about this, worry about that. Did you invite them? No. Where do they come from? Just like the clouds appear and disappear. Yeah? They also go. Yeah? But we hang on to them. We clutch on to them. And we tell them, it's me, it's mine. It's myself. Huh? Now look at yourself. Yeah? When you were a baby, what did you think? Yeah? When you were 10 years old, what did you think? What were your feelings? Yeah? When you're 20 years old? Yeah? When you're 30 years old? So where is this I that is constant? Huh? How often did we change our ideas? How often did we change our opinions? Yeah? And how often did we change our looks? Yeah? Especially to the female population. Yeah? Cutting your hair, having a new, and it costs all money, and buying new clothes and thinking we are different now. Huh? Looking in the mirror, yeah, look different. Huh? The cheetah is different, huh? Yeah? Man nowadays, the younger generation is the same, yeah? It didn't used to be, at least not at my age. We just wear jeans and a, sweater and that's it. Everybody was wearing the same thing. Now they have to wear, all these kind of fashion clothes. Yeah? Always thinking, they have to belong to somewhere. Huh? That's why we do these things. Why do we do these things? Yeah? Why do we dress up? Yeah? Why do we use makeup? Make up for what? Huh? For the deficiencies in our body that we don't want others to see. Huh? That's why we use clothes, to expose certain parts of the body that we think are beautiful and hide other parts of the body that we don't think they are so beautiful. Huh? I'm just talking about the truth, yeah? I mean, if you look around, you will see it, yeah? What is it, yeah? And we always think we are somebody different, yeah? We're not. We have to take care of the chitta, that is the most important thing, yeah? Because the chitta is going to the next life. The body will, yeah? I mean, everybody of you knows, who has buried or burnt, yeah? His grandma, yeah? Or his relatives. The body doesn't go anywhere. It's a chitta. It's a kamma, yeah? That is attached to the chitta. That goes to the next life. And in most of the cases, it doesn't go to a very nice afterlife. Huh? I mean, just think about it. Yeah? I mean, even Lumpur here, who sits here and gives a talk, when he thinks about his early youth, he has done so much bad things, he would go to hell for at least 30 years. Yeah? So everyone, this lie, that lie, this, inconsistency, that inconsistency. I mean, there are so many things, yeah. But we don't want to remember, we don't remember, yeah. That's why we don't care, yeah. But we should. Our life is precious, yeah. Because we don't know, where we end up, yeah? Or are you sure you end up? Yeah? I mean, to become a human life, it is very difficult. Yeah? To become a human life, it is one of the difficult things. Lord Buddha said it. Yeah? To become a human and meet the true sasana, the true religion, is very difficult. So you can become a human and born in Africa and don't know anything about the sasana or the religion, yeah? Buddhism. Or in the West, know only about Christianity, yeah? Only about hate. Yeah? Look at the West, it's so full of hate. Constantly aggressive. Yeah? War. Yeah? No matter what. Yeah? So you want to be born in these countries, yeah? Or you want to be born in a country where there is Dhamma. Like in Thailand, yeah? Or Sri Lanka. There's a true Dhamma. Yeah? Thailand, yeah? Think about it, in the last 100 years, yeah? How many arahants have arisen in Thailand? More than 100. More than 100. More than everything altogether in the whole world have arisen in Thailand. Why? What did the Lord Buddha say? Because where the Dhamma is, there are the four noble beings. The Sotapanna, the Sakadagami, the Anagami, and the Arahant. When there is only Dhamma written in words, when there is no practice of the Dhamma, then there are no Arahants. And there are no Sotapannas, no Sakadagamis, no Anagamis. Yeah? How many Arahants are in Malay? 0 probably, yeah? how many are in the country where I come from? Germany, 0. Yeah? In America, look at it. Yeah? Maybe in Sri Lanka there's 1 or 2. Yeah? Maybe in Burma there's 1 and 2, but that's about it. Maybe in Laos there's 1 or 2. Yeah? But Thailand has the best, still had the best tradition. Yeah? So the Dhamma that is taught, in Thailand must be true to the point. Must give us the path to the deliverance from dukkha. Yeah? Because, lots of people practice there, and if they practice, the correct way, they reach Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, Arahant. Huh? But we are here, yeah, in Malaysia, or in Germany, or in the West, and we hear this teacher, and we hear that teacher, and we hear that teacher, and all these different teachers. And instead of getting clearer and clearer the message, we get more and more confused. Huh? That is also part of our kamma, yeah? We get more and more confused because people are talking, yeah. I like the teaching from the West, just sit there and watch your mind, yeah? And nothing will happen, You can watch the mind until the end of your life and nothing will change. Because in the mind, the thoughts are coming, memories are coming, yeah? All the time. Why should it change if we don't do something to change it? Yeah? The work of a samana, the work of a recluse, is the hardest work that we can choose in our life. Yeah? He spends 16 to 18 hours, battling the kilesas that try to fool us into believing they are us. Yeah? What did the Lord Buddha tell us about that? He said, to fight as a single person, a whole army, is easier than to fight oneself. Huh? So who do you fight? You're going to fight when you sit on your cushion, you fight yourself? Or you still believe, the thoughts that come up? Yeah? I need to drink something. It's so painful, I need to get up. Huh? That is yourself, that's what you believe is yourself. Yeah? So that's why it's so difficult. Yeah? And most of the time, without a teacher, we are not even able to find the true path. Because we believe our ideas, yeah? We read this, we read that, we heard this, we heard that, yeah? I mean, most of the time when I teach in the West, or Malaysia, yeah? I mean, so many people have so many different ideas because they heard so many different teachers, yeah? So they get confused, yeah? About Sila, Samadhi, Panya. Yeah? Sila are the precepts. That is the path that leads to the end of dukkha. That's the eightfold path. Yeah? Normally described, in the Thai tradition, it's never, hardly anybody, describes it at at the eightfold. Yeah? I mean, he normally describes it as Sila, Samadhi, Panya. Yeah? That's the fourth noble truth. The first noble truth, we don't even realize that they exist. Huh? Why? We are not suffering. Are you suffering? Most of you are not suffering. Huh? So what is the first noble truth? It's called dukkha. Huh? What is dukkha? Dissatisfaction and restlessness, boredom. Huh? And where does dissatisfaction start? We are thirsty. Huh? We are hungry. That's dissatisfaction. Or is it a pleasant feeling? Ask yourself, when you're thirsty or hungry, is that a pleasant feeling? And not dissatisfied? So there's dukkha everywhere, but we don't see it. Yeah? How can we find the real truth or the path to the end of dukkha if we don't understand dukkha? Huh? If you don't understand the constant dukkha that is there with us, yeah? Huh? In the morning waking up, not wanting to go to work, huh? That's already dukkha. Huh? Or, sometimes waiting for food, it's dukkha, yeah? There's a long line at our favorite restaurant, yeah? It's dukkha, yeah? It's everywhere, wherever we go, there's dukkha. So if we get the wrong translation, yeah, and there are a lot of wrong translations in the English language, yeah, about Buddhism, and dukkha is one of the things. If you don't understand dukkha, there's no need to go out of dukkha. Eh? But if you understand, everything, dissatisfaction, yeah, unsatisfaction, and dis-ease, it's all dukkha. Dukkha is just a container for all these unpleasant feelings. But of course, it includes pain and suffering. Yes, that's also dukkha, it's strong dukkha. Yeah? But the slight dukkha we don't notice. Yeah? And that's a problem. Yeah? How can we decide to go out? Yeah? If we don't understand what we are escaping from, what we want to overcome. Huh? Huh? Birth is dukkha, death is dukkha. Huh? And we are born, just think about your life. You're born, yeah? What do you do when you're born, when you just come out of the womb? You just lie on your back, and then what do you do? Huh? Then you start to move your hands, your legs and things like that. You train this body. Huh? Remember that? If you don't remember, try to remember it, yeah? If you have children, look at them, and you will see what they do, yeah? When they're 1 year old, they start to learn to walk. How long does it take, Can they do it in 1 day? Huh? But you want to meditate in 10 days, Huh? 10 days, 10-day retreat, yeah? Huh? How long do they learn how to walk, yeah? At least a year, yeah? And then, what do? Learn to talk. Huh? How long does it take them? Do they actually, when they open the mouth, yeah? Can formulate a sentence? Huh? You remember that? Learning to talk, yeah? When your mother didn't understand you or father didn't understand what you want, yeah? And you got furious? When you didn't talk, they understood you very well. When you started talking, what's that? And then what did you do? You were just 5 years old, yeah? Your training of the body wasn't still over yet, yeah? And then you went to school. You learned to think. Huh? How many years? 10 years? Yeah. Until 15, 16 years, yeah? Went through puberty, yeah? The worst time of our lives. Huh? When you think back. Nearly every one of us was close to a heart attack. Heart beating so fast, when we saw our loved ones, yeah, and you didn't call. 15 years it took us to train this body. Huh? Remember that? 16 years, yeah? If you went to university or even 20 years, yeah? Before we can even use it. Yeah? And then how long does it last? The older generation knows it, yeah? I mean, with 40 or 45 it starts to decay. Huh? This doesn't work, just like an old car. The older the car, the more problems it has. Huh? So, from 45 to 80 or 90, we wait for death. But with a decaying body, we try to repair it, I mean, the older we get, the more often we are with the doctors, yeah? And that's what we call life, yeah? And that's what we love, yeah? Huh? 15 years of training, and there you see, yeah? I mean, YouTube is all over the place. Watch how they train a robot to do a certain task. Huh? How long does it take? If it's a complicated task, it can take up to half a year until it does it perfectly. Huh? And then think about your body. How long did you train that? 15 years. Yeah? Until you could manage it. Yeah? And still 5 years, more experience, until you're 20. Yeah? Until it was okay. And then you think you could conquer the world, yeah? And with 40 you don't think it. You don't have the solution anymore. Yeah? We can change the world, yeah? I mean, at least my generation, the 70s, yeah? At least in Western Europe, we tried to change the world, yeah? And then we realized, we changed it to the worse. We got rid of all the virtues, that were still left over, yeah? Like respect, like gratitude, yeah? Like generosity, yeah? I think about look at the hippie generation, yeah? They were, yeah? That was my generation, yeah? Only taking, yeah? Disrespect, yeah? No gratitude for everything, yeah? So, we took it all away, yeah? Everything that was still left, of some of the virtues, yeah? And when we start to meditate, we need these virtues again. So we have to get them back, yeah? Generosity, yeah? How often are we generous, yeah? I mean, if you look at meditation, you have to become generous, yeah? You have to be generous, yeah? If you want to let go of your ideas that are much closer to you than any material things, yeah? I mean, you better start training with material things that are close to you. Yeah? Your favorite toy, your favorite things, go back to your apartment and see what you can get rid of it. What do you need for life? Yeah? You need all these things that you need to dust. Huh? When you come back home to clean up. Yeah? All these things. What are they for? Yeah? We see them one time, we like them, and we want to have them, and then we put them in our apartment, and then they are getting dusty. Most of the things there. We use it only once, or twice, and then they're gone. Yeah? But we don't want to get rid of them. So, going back to generosity, gratitude, respect. I mean, these are things that are absolutely necessary. Yeah? And people are not reminded of, yeah? I mean, especially the people from the West are not reminded of that. I hear it, I hardly hear it, and they talk, yeah? The teacher talking about the importance of gratitude, yeah? Of respect, yeah? Of generosity. When I look at the Western disciples in Thailand, I mean, I feel sad for them, yeah? because they don't have it. Yeah? I mean, when you look at the Thai disciples of a famous Ajahn, yeah, I mean, they do have respect, they do have this gratitude, yeah, because they are born with it, they are taught from the school, yeah. When the little kids, come to the monastery, I mean, they learn how to pay respect to the monks, yeah. When a Westerner comes, he stands up, he stands over the Ajahn and says, hello, yeah, how are you, where you from, yeah. There's no more respect anymore, yeah. Yeah, that's what happens, yeah. And they come to the monastery, stay there for 3 or 4 weeks, and they don't even know that they are, that they can leave some money, or some other help behind. Yeah? They just take whatever they can, yeah? Because it's free, yeah? Free. Yeah? People from Sri Lanka and India always send us letters. Send us some free books, free, always in bold, yeah? Free books. Not books that cost something. And we even pay for the postage. Yeah? No, and they don't even thank us. Yeah? That's what became of this world. Yeah? No gratitude anymore. Yeah? No generosity. Yeah? Except for Thailand. I mean, they're very generous people. And in India sometimes, they're very extremely generous. They can be extremely generous. And we need that on our path. If we want to practice, if our practice, shall take fruits, we need these 3 virtues, and I always mention it. Gratitude, respect, generosity. And then we can start. Yeah? And then we need also the 5 precepts, of course. Yeah? I mean, that's a must. If you live in a monastery, it's a must. You mostly keep the 8 precepts, but the 5 precepts. Yeah? Not harming any living being. Yeah? Not taking what is not given. Yeah? No sexual misconduct. Yeah? Number 1 crime in this whole world, no matter where you are, no matter what country you are. Yeah? Sexual misconduct. Taking somebody, because of one's position, yeah, for one's sexual pleasure. I mean, in Germany, probably also in Europe, there was a law, that a teacher cannot have sex with a student. He was instantly imprisoned. We got rid of it. It's inconvenient. Yeah? I mean, the sexual crimes between parents and children, in the West are immense, yeah? Or the professors with their students, or the bosses with their secretary, and so on, yeah? Everywhere. So that's sexual misconduct. That's certainly one thing that instantly leads to hell. There's no doubt about it. Killing people instantly leads to hell. Sexual misconduct instantly leads to hell. There's no doubt about that. Yeah? So that was the 3rd precept. What is the 4th? Musa. Speech. Yeah? Not only not lies, yeah? Harmful speech. Yeah? Criticizing others, because you want to put them down. Yeah? And women are especially good at that. This person is not good, do you see that, what he did? Did you see that? Yeah? What he did, what she did, what that did? Yeah? Why don't you look at your own? Huh? What do you do? Why do you constantly look around what other people are doing? Why don't you look what you are doing? Because other people say the same thing about you, what you say about others. Huh? Don't you know that? Huh? So keep your mouth shut, yeah? That's the best thing that you can do. Yeah? It's not only that women do it, some of the men are famous for that as well. Yeah? Especially when they're called politicians. Yeah? But anyway, it is one of the things women like to do, yeah, because they think they don't have the power that the men have, yeah. But in this life we are women, in the next life we are men. So it all changes, yeah. And the men become women, yeah. and the women become men. So, there's nothing. Yeah? There's no difference. You shouldn't put your feet in front of a monk, yeah? In Thai, it is the most impolite thing that you can do. It's the dirtiest thing, that you put, in front. So we are women, and then we become men. So, there's no difference between women and men, just our characteristic tendencies make us be born as a woman or make us be born as a man, yeah? But the fifth, then let's come to the last precept, that is alcohol and drugs, everything that makes us unmindful, yeah? And alcohol is, you're here in a Muslim country, there's probably not so much problem with alcohol for the Muslims, yeah? They normally keep to their roots, not like the Christians, yeah? They drink lots and lots of alcohol. But drugs, yeah? Anything, that makes us unmindful. And why do we like alcohol, or why do we like drugs? To forget our dukkha. Huh? That's the only reason. People say, oh, it tastes nice. It tastes absolutely horrible. Huh? When you really taste it, it tastes horrible. But the after effect is good. That's why we take it. Yeah? Any kind of juice is much better, Even clear water is much better tasting. Or a tea, nice, refreshing mint tea or whatever, yeah? Alcohol is so terrible, But, we like it, yeah? That's why we take it. We want to forget our dukkha. So we want to forget the first noble truth, yeah? And if we forget the first noble truth, we cannot go the path that leads to the end of dukkha, yeah? Because we don't have any motivation for it. Yeah? So these are the 5 precepts, so we keep them, yeah? And then we start with Samadhi. Yeah? And Samadhi is simple, either you do sitting meditation, you sit comfortable, cross-legged, or a half lotus or full lotus, yeah? Close your eyes, and then concentrate on the Buddha, 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 or you concentrate on the breath. Don't worry about the time. If I can eat before 12 o'clock, that's enough, yeah? I don't need much. We normally eat only once a day. So all what you do is, you concentrate on your breath. Huh? Knowing that the breath goes in, knowing that the breath goes out, knowing that the breath is deep, knowing that the breath is shallow. Yeah? That's all what you do. When the mind goes out, you bring it back. Yeah? To the tip of the nose, that's where you observe the breath. Yeah? Until the mind becomes calm, yeah? Until there are no more thoughts and there are no more memories coming in. And then you're in a safe house. You are somewhere in a world of experience where nobody takes hold of this experience. Nobody tells, that's a nice experience. Now I'm calm. Nobody's there. Just like in this room, whenever you go in the room, close the doors behind it, you might see the people outside, but they cannot come in and disturb you. So the kilesas are out for that moment. Yeah? And that's why it's so peaceful. That's why it's so rest. Yeah? That's why it's so energizing. Most of the people just, they come into this room is air conditioned, outside it is hot, They open the door, it's so nice, and then they close the door in front of them, instead of going in and closing the door behind them, and really relaxing. Yeah? And they have a nice meditation, and they tell us, how nice the meditation was, but they're really exhausted afterwards, because they constantly open the door and close it in front of them, instead of going in, and really relaxing. Yeah? People who are going, really relaxing, when they come out, they're completely energized. Yeah? Just like charging your batteries. Yeah? So then when you come out, you're concentrated and energized, then you've actually been into Samadhi. It's not about the nice feeling. Huh? That's why a lot of people do, meditation because of the nice feeling. That's why a lot of people, drink alcohol because of the nice feeling. Huh? No, that's not the point. The point is really to relax the mind, to energize it, to get concentrated. I mean, what can, most of you, do some kitchen work, sometimes cook, I mean, if you have a knife that is not sharp, what can you do with that knife? Nothing. You can squash the tomato instead of cutting it. You can't, And that's it, exactly about our mind. If it is not sharp, it cannot do anything. Try to cut the tree, of greed, hatred and delusion down with a knife that is not sharp. Nothing happens, You damage it at one side, and then you go on, and while you damage it at another side, it grows back. Nothing happens to the tree. But if the knife is sharp, then you cut and cut and cut and cut and undermine the 10 fetters, that keeps us to this round of birth and death. So that's why it is important, People don't like Samadhi because it's so difficult, because the mind wants to go out all the time. They always want to do vipassana, investigation. And they don't even want to investigate the things that we are so attached to. They want to investigate the mind. They don't want to investigate this body. That's the first thing. That is the first, the first 5 fetters, have all to do, with this body. Greed and hatred are born in this body, not in the mind. I want to eat, I want this, I want new clothes, I want, more money. It all has to do with the body. It doesn't have to do anything with the mind. So greed and hatred are rooted in this body. So that's why the first thing is we investigate this body. And together with the body, of course, bodily feelings. But you cannot investigate the body if the mind is not calm. You cannot, you cannot cut a tomato and see the structure of a tomato if your knife is blunt. You only squash it and you don't see anything. So that's why we need Samadhi, to make the mind sharp. So that's why we need always to go back to the Buddha or go back to the breath, to the tip of the nose whenever there is a thought coming. Just bring it back, And then some people try to force it and they get headache. That's not the point. The point is just to bring the mind back, because it doesn't like to go back from its fantasies, from our daydreams. It doesn't like to go back. That's why we start to do investigation that is completely useless if you don't have a straight mind, if you don't have a firm mind, if you don't have developed sati, the knowingness, what is happening at that one point. And that's what we develop with Samadhi. Observing the breath, knowing that the breath is deep, knowing that the breath is shallow, not the in-breath is longer or out-breath is shorter, or longer. That is the knowing faculty, And whenever we put then our attention on something else, for instance pain that comes up in our meditation, we know about pain. And that's what we have to develop. And because it's so difficult, we don't want to develop, and we want to skip to something else that is more fun. But it's useless. I mean, why did the Lord Buddha say? Sila, Samadhi, 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 Panya. And Panya doesn't come through Samadhi. Some people tell, Panya arises, wisdom arises through Samadhi. Doesn't arise. I mean, all what you do is you hide from the kilesas, to take a rest. Just like you hide from your children, when they are getting on your nerves, you close the door behind you, and let them do whatever they want. So you can have a rest, and that's hiding, and that is perfectly okay. We can hide from the kilesas to take a nap, and when we come out, we are refreshed, and then we can deal with the children in a much better way, because the kilesas are nothing else than children, Wanting this, wanting that, don't want this, don't want that, Crying, Every mother or father knows that. Yeah? And the kilesas are constantly nagging. Yeah? So that's why we need a place where we can rest from them. Close the door, and take a nap, relax, and come back. Yeah? And then we are calm, and then we can deal with every problem much better. Yeah? Instead, we never go into there because it's so difficult. Yeah? Or we don't like, to face the dukkha that comes on when we do our samadhi practice. Yeah? I'm so tired. Yeah? Huh? I can't concentrate. Yeah? I'm so tired. Let's do something else. Yeah? Let's talk to a friend. Yeah? Taking out their smartphones and calling in a friend. Yeah? It's much more fun. Yeah? It doesn't help anything. Yeah? We have to learn. Yeah? It is a basic training, just like the training of walking. Yeah? It's a basic training. We have to learn it. Yeah? Not just like talking. Yeah? Think about how long it took you. Yeah? That's why I said it. Remember how long it takes you, to learn to walk, to learn to talk, because learning samadhi is nothing different. It's a basic training, always bringing the mind back to the Buddha or bringing it back to the breath. Yeah? If you think a lot, take the Buddha. Yeah? And wisdom, starts with investigating the body. Yeah? So we start, birth. Yeah? What did we do? And so on and so on. I don't want to go into detail. Already taken a lot of time. Yeah? It's already 10:30 and you don't. Yeah, you haven't had the time to ask questions. So now it's the time to ask questions. It's a forest Dhamma. It's not, Dhamma from the books. It's Dhamma from experience. From hard practice of 20 years, wherever it is, be it on Tudong, or be it in case, That's where the Dhamma arises. It doesn't arise in books. That's why probably most of you are unfamiliar with this kind of Dhamma. Okay, so I'll ask you questions,
Yes, Bhante. I have two questions with it. Yes, Bhante, I have two questions. Very interesting Dhamma. My first question regards we lay practitioner. Bhante mentioned that in the whole world, it's only about a few handful of arahants. It's so difficult. Then the other thing is, Bhante also mentioned that so many interpretations that we are faced with. I remember when it was introduced early in the morning, before you came, that Bhante spends a lot of time in the forest, 4 or 5 months alone, and you can do a retreat 14 hours a day.
24, not 40. Right? A day has only 24 hours.
No, 14, 1-4.
Oh, 14,
Yeah. We still a lot. We only do about half an hour. So, my question is, maybe there could be something about this solitary retreat which we don't do. We always like to have a retreat with a lot of people, or we do in a house. So I would like to have Bhante's experiences, some advice on this solitary retreat, and how would it help us in our path towards liberation. The second question is about...
one question after one other, huh?
Yeah,
Because the second question, I forget the first question,
Okay, I'll wait for Bhante to finish answer.
It is not, that Lumpur here, I didn't do practice before, I was doing practice at home, But I had the help of, 1 or twice a year, having a 10-day retreat, I went on a 10-day retreat, and then, after the first retreat, I decided meditation is the most important thing in my life. And then I started, before I even did anything, when I woke up, I was sitting down for 1 hour. And then I started to wash my face or eat something and go to work. Yeah? If work started at 6, I got up at 4. Yeah? If work started at 9 o'clock, I got up at 7. What happened? Yeah? When I came back from work, I did another hour. Before I did anything in the house. Yeah? Because if you start to do anything, then you never get down to sit practice. Yeah? So the first thing is you close the door behind in your apartment and you sit down and practice. And leave out everything that happened. And then later in the evening, if you have time, you reflect. That is the most important thing. You reflect about what happened today. Yeah? Not judging, just reflection. Reflection is the first thing. And then if some of you heard my talks, I talk often about it, and I also talk about the difficulties of reflection because people tend to forget it. Because it's undermining the power of the kilesas. They lead us to certain tricks. Yeah? So we just watch, when I got up, what did I think? What did I do then? What did I think? What kind of memories came through my mind? Without judging it is good or bad. When I met this person, what happened? Yeah? Just like a film, just like a film looking at it, yeah? Seeing what's happening. And the heart actually knows if it is good or not, yeah? We have to teach our heart, not the mind. The mind, is full of errors. Yeah? The heart knows, yeah. And over the time, over half a year or a year, if you do that constantly, you will change, and you will change to the better because the heart doesn't like to be tormented. So you have to tell the heart that it is tormented in this situation, and then it lets go, because you cannot let go. It's a wrong teaching that is all over the world. Yeah. Letting go, letting go. You cannot let go of the kilesas. They don't let you go. Huh? And the first few years before I came to Thailand, I was in the same kind of spirit, Western spiritual world, yeah. And they always said, let go. And I always told them, you can't let go, it's impossible to let go. But I'm getting confused like you, because everybody says the same thing, just letting go, just watch your mind, and everything will regulate on itself. Until I went to see Ajahn Mahabodhi, and he said, one of the first things he said, you can't let go. And I said, wow. Yeah? He said, and he gave an example. He said, an ant, can let go and it fall to the floor. It's on the roof. Yeah? But it does not know the command, let go. All what it can do, one step at a time, in the right direction, and it will go and end up at the floor. So, you can't let go. The only thing you can do is when greed comes up, you can't give in. You cannot give in. Yeah? But you can't let go of the greed. It's inherent. You have to investigate. Yeah? So that's what you can do as a layperson. If it's not 1 hour, at least half an hour in the morning and half an hour in the evening, yeah, when you come back from work, yeah, just to let everything go, because it constantly bothers, yeah. Everybody who cooks, he knows, if you let your food, boil and boil and boil and boil, yeah, huh? Never put it off the fire, what happens to the food, yeah? And that's what your heart is like, yeah? It's boiling, 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 boiling. You never give it a rest, you never give it a peace, yeah? If you give it a peace, twice a day, you will not be heated up when somebody says something, huh? People can say something and say, yeah, that's nice, yeah. But we are not. We are constantly boiling, 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 and putting more thoughts, yeah, more fire under the food, yeah. Why it becomes more and more sticky, yeah. Okay, second question.
Yes, okay, my second question, it relates to earlier Bhante mentioned about the citta that causes so much problem. The problem most of us face is this citta sometimes is mentioned as the source of all the emotion. But when we do meditation, we talk about mindfulness, sati, which is the one that knows. So we have sati, and then we also know about nama rupa, the nama being the mental aspect. And then we have things like consciousness, vijnana. So my question is...
It's too complicated.
I think so.
I don't understand, I don't understand complicated things, yeah? I can do one thing at a time.
Okay, maybe Bhante will just tell us more about...
First of all, sati, yeah? That's another of these wrong translations. Mindfulness. The mind is full of one thing. Sati is mind emptiness. The mind is empty. Completely empty. That is where the knowing faculty arises, when the mind is empty. When the mind is full, it doesn't arise. I am concentrating so well, I'm so well with my... You're constantly thinking about your mindfulness, huh? That's not sati. Sati is mind emptiness. It's one of these mistakes, that come through language.
I would like to know more about this citta, the heart.
The citta, yeah. What we all have is it's called a defiled citta, yeah. The citta that is taken over by avijja, yeah. And the fangs of avijja, or the soldiers of the avijja, are the kilesas. The kilesas have 3 armies, they are grouped in 3 armies, and they are called greed, hatred, and delusion. And what we normally see when we start our work of meditation is 2 armies, greed and hate. So that means likes and dislikes. We can't even see delusion that is behind, yeah? Delusion pulls a string, yeah? It pushes greed forward or it pushes hate forward, yeah? Until we battle greed and hate, we can't even see the delusion, yeah? And greed and hatred are rooted in the body. So once we overcome the body, once we investigate the body fully, then we are already at the stage of anagami. We are not non-returners. Yeah? Investigation of the body goes to the sotapanna, so the stream entry, to the once returner, and then finishes at the anagami, at the non-returner. And only then come the higher. Yeah, you always think. Then comes Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara. And in Sanya, Sankhara, or in memory, association, and thought, that's where delusion hides. So we have to rip it apart. And when you look at Lungta Mahaboa, how he describes it, yeah? His concentration was up to the par, yeah? He was really good, yeah? For body investigation to the stage of anagami, it took him 8 months. To dismantle greed, to dismantle delusion, it took him 2.5 years. And he has had good concentration, yeah? And he couldn't do the delusion, before he didn't get rid of greed and hate. It's all these false ideas, that swirl around in the people's head. Yeah? You understand? And then at the last is consciousness. Don't even think about consciousness. Yeah? You will not see it. Yeah? Try to look, in the 70s, when you went to a movie theater, yeah, try to see the black bar between 2 pictures. Huh? See? Just a small little bar. But it was rolling so fast that we couldn't see it. Huh? That's when consciousness drops. Huh? So you have to run up to the speed with your sati to see that black bar when consciousness is not there. Understood? Huh? Don't even worry about it. Worry about, you worry about your sati and worry about investigation of the body. That's all what you can do in this life. Yeah? Okay, more questions? Yeah? That's a problem with technique. Technique's supposed to work, never works. Wireless microphones.
Hello. Hi, Tan Ajahn. I don't know if I have a problem with my meditation or not. When I do my breath meditation, sometimes, a lot of times I notice I stay between the gaps of breathing out and not yet breathe in, so there's a gap.
Yeah.
So it gets quite peaceful during that time.
Yes, that's good.
And I dwell a lot. I breathe out more than I breathe in.
Yeah.
So it gets.
So what's the problem?
It gets quite peaceful during that time.
Yeah.
So then after that, there's like probably not enough air. Then I have to take a deep breath, and the mind gets a bit agitated.
So what you're doing is you're manipulating it. All what you know, yeah? I mean, lots of people. I mean, we try to control everything. We try to control our environment, we try to control our partner, we try to control the breath when we do meditation. Meditation is about observing the breath. If you go to that point, between, yeah, I mean, but what happens, If you really have sati, you know when the breath goes in, when the breath goes up to the height, then when the breath goes down, when the breath, in-breath stops, and then when when the out-breath comes. Yeah? But you want to control it, yeah? And that's why you get into trouble.
The thing is, I don't think I am purposely forcing it.
No, we do that unpurposely. But we do it intentionally. But you don't know the intention because your sati is not up to the par, yeah? So try, it doesn't really matter, then just go, just tell you, I just want to know the breath, yeah? And not only going to, of course it is very helpful to go between in-breath and out-breath and in-breath, yeah? It's a very, it's a very important point. But that's where where you have troubles, controlling it, yeah? Because then you don't want the in-breath to come, and then that's what happens, then it comes, very forcefully because you need to breathe, yeah? Well, observe the breath, how it goes in, goes to its height and then slowly goes down, yeah? Or, when there are too many thoughts, just use Buddha, yeah? Put with breathing in, do with breathing out, yeah? Okay? Controlling the breath is a very difficult thing. It took me over 2 years not to be able to control the breath. You notice it only when you get calm, that you're controlling it. Yeah? You want to make it softer, you want to make it longer, and you don't notice it because your sati is not up to the par. So, okay, any other question? We still have five more minutes, yeah? What? No more questions? Oh, you're all hungry, huh? Only thinking about food, sleep, Yeah? That's what your life is about. Eating, sleeping, having fun, yeah? And now we don't have fun, with other people. We have fun with our little matchbox. Huh? Playing games. Huh? This life is nothing else, look at anybody who's hooked up to video games. This life is nothing else than a video game. That is called life. Huh? And I think, on the internet there's already out another video game that is called Second Life. Because the people don't like this life, they move into a second life. Yeah? So how deep are we going into delusion? Yeah? In this life, delude ourselves in games and and other things, yeah. It's a video game, and each video game has rules, yeah. Just like our life has rules, and we cannot change these rules, yeah. And these rules are the 5 precepts. If you go against it, yeah, Or, think about whatever you do to others, will happen to you. Yeah? That's the number one rule. You don't have to remember anything else. Yeah? Yeah? Ask yourself before you do something, do you want this to happen to you? Then go ahead and do it. Yeah? If you like to be beaten up, then just beat up other people. Yeah? If you like, that people get angry at you, then just get angry at other people. Yeah? So much fun. Yeah? Just think about this. Yeah? It's a game, yeah? But it's a very serious game. Yeah? It has consequences. And just look at the youngsters, at the end it's always there. You died. Just like with us. Over. Black screen, over, game over. Huh? Next game, next life. Be it a ghost, a hungry ghost, be it a being in hell, yeah? Whatever comes next. Huh? And it's up to you to choose it. Yeah? And that's what that is the only message I have. Yeah? Be aware that you are responsible for the things that happen to you. Yeah? Nobody else. Yeah? And that you make it better, that you prepare the grounds for your next life. No matter where it is and no matter how it is. Yeah? If you want to become rich, then start to get generous. Yeah? If you want other people to respect you, then start to respect others. Huh? Not just the people we like. Yeah? That's not respect. That's just liking. We can respect every person. Yeah? No matter how bad he is, we don't have to value his deeds. But we can respect him as a human being, because as a human being he had to keep the 5 precepts, that made him a human being. Otherwise he would be in hell or in the ghost world or anywhere else. Huh? No matter how bad he is. The Lord Buddha also talked about this. Yeah? We always can find something good in a person, if we want to. Yeah? But we only look at the black spot on the face. Yeah? Whenever you look in the mirror, you don't see the beautiful face, you only see this black spot. That's a problem. Yeah? See the whole. Yeah? People, people have their ways, have their characteristics, but they became people because they kept for a while the 5 precepts. Yeah? It accumulates, in this life, maybe for 1 year or 2 years, yeah? In the next life for 1 or 2 years, and so in many lives, they get a human life. Yeah? That's why it's so difficult to get a human life. Yeah? Okay? No more question, yeah? Yeah? One more?
I'm not sure whether it's a silly question, but I just want to ask Ajahn first. Because Ajahn mentions that 95% of the karmas that we actually done now is for the use of next life. So
95, yeah.
Yeah. So why do we need to do or have good karmas when we can't enjoy this life? Because for the next life, I'm not sure what is going to happen. And that's only the body. And it's just like, why do we want to do it?
That's what you have to ask yourself. If you ask me, I don't want to go through this life again. Do you want to go through the same life again? If you say yes, that's fine. Then you will have the next life. Ask the older people, here, yeah? When they think about their life, they think about between 20 and 30. Huh? Isn't it? Huh? And that's what they want. They don't want to reprogram that body, they don't want to be 5 years. When you think about your next life, what do you think? When you were 19, 20, yeah? And 30? You don't want to think about when you get old and sick, yeah? And when you die, you don't want to think about, when you get young. Think about it. When you were young, went to school, that was so much fun. When you learn to walk, when you learn to talk, yeah? That was so much fun. All these troubles with your parents, so much fun, huh? So you go through it again and again and again and again and again until you decide, stop. Yeah? It's up to you, I mean, it's your life. Yeah? But if you want to make it good, do the things, that you want to happen to you, do it unto others. Yeah? Because, we have this saying, I don't know, probably in Malaysia as well, don't do unto others what you don't want others to do unto you. And they forget always the second part, for whatever happens to you is what you have done unto others. This is never said. Yeah. Okay. Understood? I mean, there's no problem, you can have billions of lives, to come, yeah? The only problem is to make it, out of the hamster wheel. Next time you go in a garden, zoo, I look at a hamster, in a hamster wheel, yeah? It constantly runs around, I mean, it is very happy, yeah? But when you look from the side, it doesn't go anywhere. Huh? That's our life. Okay, so now it's time for...
Thank you, Venerable Ajahn Martin, for the enlightening and encouraging talk. Brothers and sisters, let us show our appreciation and gratitude to Venerable Ajahn Martin by saying Sadhu Sadhu 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.